Recognize that no one will come to your rescue. It is innate for the human species to unconsciously feel that someone is always watching over us, guiding us in the things we should do, the right direction to go, how to fix what's wrong, and so on. The reason for this to happen is that every human being who survived until his or her adulthood was taken care of by someone older, to feed them, take care of them when they were sick, etc. Regardless of how good or negligent their care was, everyone had someone that took care of their survival. A baby abandoned in the middle of nowhere who receives no help has no chance of surviving. That is why it is natural that everyone unconsciously has this feeling that someone will come for their rescue, since it was the case, at least for the first decade of their life when they figured out how the world works. The predictability of a person's success can be determined according to their level of life accountability, despite the privilege they were born in. Most new billionaires come from middle or lower classes. Think of all privileged kids that end up ruining their lives with addictions or losing all their inherited wealth. There is no correlation between the privilege you're born in and the level of well-being and wealth you can achieve, especially in this new digital era. The sooner you realize this, the faster your life will improve. Increase the overall control of your life. There is a connection between the level of your life's control and your life satisfaction. At a certain level, having someone telling you what to do and when to do it releases you from the stress of figuring this out for yourself. That is why lots of people prefer the comfort of having a job where they are told what to do and how to do it, rather than starting their own business. But there is always a very high price to pay the more control you give in. If you could only pursue one thing in life, it shouldn't be beauty, status, or even happiness. It should be freedom. Just ask a life sentence prisoner what he or she is willing to give in exchange to get their freedom back. The problem is that you don't need to be in prison to be a prisoner of something. Many people are prisoners of debt, their employer, or their spouse unconsciously. The ability of being able to decide 100% for yourself, whether it is a small decision like what restaurant to go for dinner, or bigger decisions like how much time do you want to dedicate to your job instead of your family, make the complete difference in your actual well-being. Never exchange freedom for anything else. Your future self will regret it. Consume social media wisely. Social media is very demonized nowadays, but like everything, nothing is neither black nor white. It all depends on the usage you give it. Social media has become the new TV, and just like when people watched cable TV, you have the choice to watch completely shallow content that, aside from being a pleasant distraction when you're waiting in line, it does not really add any value to your life. Right now, there are hundreds of thousands of creators that make incredibly valuable content, and it is completely free. There's lots of options to choose from, so definitely you can find any valuable educational content in any imaginable format. There is no excuse. You can pretty much learn anything you want for free on YouTube. It is up to you to take advantage of it, or to just keep watching videos of cute little puppies. Realize money is one of the most powerful tools in life, if not the most powerful. People don't realize how powerful money really is. You may be thinking, what are you talking about? Today's society value material stuff more than ever. In these times, people are willing to do anything, literally anything, to purchase designer brands or luxurious cars, even when they can't afford them. And that is exactly the issue. People think of money exactly the opposite way they should. Money is probably the biggest tool on earth to buy you freedom. Just as we mentioned in one of our previous points, above everything, what you should pursue in life is freedom. But apparently, people got it backwards because most people use money to buy material goods that depreciate in time or that have very expensive ownership costs. Even worse, they get in debt paying a ridiculous interest rate to buy a depreciating good. That is scoring a double own goal. The purpose of having money should be not having to work if you don't want to, being able to afford the best medical care in case you or a loved one needs it, or being able to provide all kinds of protection to your family. Stop wasting money, invest it, and always pursue making more, unless making more money means giving up some of your freedom. Number 1. Understand that your thoughts become your reality. We know what you're thinking. That is the same magical thinking you hear everywhere. Like the people who say that if you want to be rich, you should manifest it 4 times looking at yourself in the mirror and that it will magically happen. Of course, that is not what we're talking about. What we mean is that there is scientific proof that people who think that they are capable of doing something achieve that something. And people who find themselves incapable don't even mind trying. They are already defeated in their thoughts. Your mind is completely neutral, and like a sponge, it absorbs all the information you feed it with. It doesn't distinguish between good or bad thoughts. It just takes all of them as the absolute truth. If you feed your mind with a thought that says, I can become the next boss of the department I work in, your mind believes it as is. It doesn't make a judgment about it. In the same way, if you think, I'm incapable of resolving this issue, or other people are smarter than me, your mind also accepts that as the truth. And here comes the dangerous part. Your mind starts to seek validation of those thoughts, and it will find proof of whatever your statement was. This validation will happen with every thought you feed your mind with. So you need to be extremely careful what thoughts you unconsciously make your mind validate. Number 2. Be intentional about what you do. Now that you know how powerful your mind is, you need to start applying this second concept, that is, being intentional. Being intentional means taking action only when there is an obvious reason behind that action you're taking. Or said differently, making conscious decisions based on your priorities. This is a common feature among successful people. No one really achieves anything big in life without having an obvious intention behind it. Do you think NASA just randomly landed on the moon by flowing with the day or by saying, let life surprise us? Of course not. How to know if you are being intentional enough in your life? Imagine there is a detective spying on you 24/7. That detective can see everything you do, all day long. Would it be clear for that detective to guess what is the intention behind what you do? If the answer is no, you are in big trouble. Work on making your actions reflect what you are chasing in life. Number 3. Change dreams for goals and make a plan to achieve them. As you learned in the first point of this video, it is very important that you dream big. Believe yourself capable of doing anything you dream of. Don't limit yourself. And once you have these very clear dreams, you need to transform them into goals. How do you transform a dream into a goal? By making a very detailed plan on how to achieve it. Even the biggest dreams can be achieved by creating a plan. We think the best way to create a detailed plan is by creating it in reverse. This is by far the easiest way to create a plan, especially for goals that initially seem out of your reach. Making reverse engineering is always easier. Let's say your goal is to go to Harvard without having the economic means to pay for your tuition and expenses. Picture yourself as an already Harvard student, then start listing the happenings to the past that made you being accepted in that prestigious institution with a full scholarship. Start asking infinite questions to the past, connecting that Harvard student to your present self. For example, how did my future self get accepted into Harvard with a full scholarship? And find the answers by applying to the best possible scholarships. How did I know which was the best possible scholarship and how to get it? By researching cases in forums and YouTube of people that got accepted with great scholarships, and even reaching out to them by DM when possible, and so on. When you create the plan backwards, everything becomes easier, and you'll have a very detailed plan on how to achieve that dream of yours. Number 4. Say no more often. Not knowing how to say no isn't a polite trait. It is one of the worst common ways of self-sabotage. Every person is running on limited resources, and every time you say yes to something, you are directly saying no to something else. When you agree to help a colleague develop a great report for a project he or she is working on, you are saying no to advancing in your own work, or even quitting to personal time you could use with your friends or family, or just watch a TV series that could help you get disconnected from work. Life is constantly throwing tons of distractions at you. When you have created an awareness of this concept, it will be easy for you to spot them. Is saying yes to the party full of people you dislike just to be polite means saying no to something more meaningful in your life? Learn to always put yourself and the things you care in life first, and you will quickly see how your life tremendously improves. Becoming the best version of yourself is easier than you think. Number 1. Comprehend that time is the most valuable asset in life. Of all assets you have in life, time is the most valuable. If there is a needle-moving asset that, well invested, will transform your life forever, it is definitely time. Time is also one of the most democratic assets we get. No matter how rich or poor you are, we all get the same 24 hours every single day. The difference between rich and poor people is that rich people are very aware of this and act accordingly. They are very careful and selective about how they decide to invest their time. They will never trade time for money. They only trade money for time. They understand very well that you can always make more money, but you can never make more time. For that reason, you need to invest it wisely. Pay extreme attention to how you use the 24 hours you get every day. Make sure you're spending your time doing activities that are getting you closer to the life you want, because no one really knows how much time we have left. Most people take for granted that they will get a brand new set of 24 hours tomorrow. And let's pretend you will. Here is a very hard truth. As time passes by, the new set of 24 hours you get every day decreases in quality. The 24-hour set of a young, healthy person in their 20s is not equivalent to the 24-hour set of someone in their 60s or even in their 40s. Your health deteriorates, your mind sharpness and your energy level decrease. So there will be a time in which no matter how hard you try, your productivity will never match the productivity of your previous 24-hour sets. Don't waste time. Use it wisely. Number 2. Identify your number 1 time waster. Now that you know how important time usage is, the easiest way you can instantly make better use of your time is by identifying your number 1 time waster. There are many conscious and unconscious ways in which you waste time every day. The conscious ones are obvious to you. You know the ridiculous time you spend making sure you miss no story uploaded by your friends in social media. The unconscious time wasters require some extra thought. Anything could be an unspotted time waster, like the 35 minutes you spend taking a shower, or the small talk you have with your coworkers that easily turns into 20-minute office gossip sessions. Now, make a list that includes all time wasters found, and then select the number 1 daily time waster. and put all your effort into getting rid of it or diminish it as much as you can. Even if you took no action regarding all other time wasters, by eliminating or drastically reducing your top time waster, you are already across the river. Number 3. Know what makes you happy and what doesn't. As silly as this may sound, most people have never given a profound thought to identify the things that bring them true joy, as well to identify the things that steal joy from their lives. If people practiced this exercise, no one would get in debt for material stuff, which joy disappears 2 days after the purchase, and would spend more money on meaningful experiences. How many people do you think have written a list of the features they want a partner to have, and the features that are a deal breaker? Most people will start a relationship with someone based almost entirely on looks, even when they have already walked the wrong path in the past, in which they found out that they were completely incompatible. If most people haven't done this exercise with their love life, even fewer people have thought of this about their lives. Make a profound analysis of the things you enjoy in life, big and small. It can be getting recognition at work for your good contributions, or smaller things like looking at a beautiful sunrise while you enjoy your morning coffee. Make the same exercise of the things you dislike. Maybe it is the endless daily commute, or perhaps visiting your parents-in-law. Now, focus on actively having more of those joyful things, and also actively reducing or diminishing the things you dislike. Number 4. Detect the main thing holding you back. We all have that something that is preventing us from getting to the next level. Growth in life is usually holistic, which means you need to level up several aspects to reach your goal. But the easiest way to start growing is by identifying the one thing that, if changed, you would automatically get to the next level. It could be a hard or soft skill. Let's say your goal is buying your first house. Buying a house may seem extremely difficult nowadays. You may think you won't be able to achieve that dream until you make serious money, when in reality, it could be simpler and more in your control than you think. Maybe the one thing holding you back from buying your first house is your careless grocery spend. Since it is one of the few rewards you can give yourself after a hard-working week, you mindlessly add unnecessary things to your cart that easily add $200 to your ticket weekly, which amounts to $800 a month, that, if saved, could easily transform into your first house down payment in 3 years or less. Or maybe everything you need to get promoted at work is to increase visibility of what you do. Just changing that. Not working harder, not improving your metrics, but to increase visibility of your contributions. Life is simpler than we think. It is not about working harder, but about improving our strategy. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.